The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television. The original broadcast date, April 4th, 2025. And tonight we have big news. Well, we were going to have big news, but we decided not to do it. We were going to kick the can down the road a month. Just because we can.
Bye, guys.
It's my show. I can do whatever goddamn thing I want. Anyway, no, we have the big reveal tonight. We have the big reveal tonight of what Adrian has been teasing for the last couple weeks. Oh, Brandon's back. I can add him to the stage now. We weren't sure he was going to be a part of this for a moment, but yes, there he is. So yes, we have the council and Adam, who is practically the council because he does a lot of shit that I can't do. So there.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we'll just put it that way. Quick mention that Joe Lewis will be reviewing Hellboy, the Crooked Man, or a Crooked Man. He didn't know either.
Heck yeah.
And, I saw that it's streaming on something. I saw that on TV, and I said, it might be okay. And I think according to his review, it's okay. So,
someone just called us the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Well, not that far off. So before we go any further, I do want to mention that in the staff group, how do you think my demotivational posts have been going?
Excellent. Great. I love them. I look forward to them. And sometimes when I see something, I'll be like, oh, I need to send this to Wes. And I look, and it was you who shared it. So, I think I'm starting to get on the level.
I totally troll the internet looking for just terrible, mean things. Mean things to say to people. Okay. Well, because we want to get on with this conversation and to let everybody quit trying to guess that we're bringing Matthew Lillard or somebody back.
Right.
I'm going to pull the graphic up now. And Adrian, it's all you.
Okay. I'm ready. Introducing... Two people guessed it. The spawn of Scarefest. Coming in June of 2026, we are going to be launching our second annual event happening at the Griffin Gate Marriott in Lexington, Kentucky. Yay!
Let's see, I've built it 16 years in the making.
Yeah, so this has been like a huge labor of love. Honestly, we have been wanting to do a second show for years now. It's something that we've talked to a lot of people. Wes is like, no. Something we've talked to a lot of people about over that time. And we are in a position, thanks to our fearless leader, that we are, in good that we can launch a second event. And we're going to see how many more gray hairs I can get.
Yeah, I was going to say my blood pressure is too low, so I've got to get it back up. And I mean, in all seriousness, like anybody that knows me and has talked to me for a while, I love hotel shows. Always have, always will, and I've always wanted to do a hotel show. It's a different feel. I love convention shows. I love hotel shows, but we wanted something that was a little bit smaller and a little bit more, I don't know, kind of more
immersive.
Union-ish.
Immersive is kind of the way that I feel. Like That is so everybody, one of the things, the main themes that I've heard from people over the last several years, of course, people love getting big guests. We love doing big reunions. Those are all really exciting things. But for those of us who have been around for a really long time, we get almost kind of a nostalgia for the way the show used to be. And, the hype and the crowds and everything are awesome. But this is kind of more of an intimate, a more immersive type of event. And we don't have the whole weekend long schedule lined out yet. We don't have all of the guests booked or anything like that, but we do have a rough idea of what we want this event to look like. And, we want you all to be a part of shaping the event and what that looks like, because, like Brandon said, going to hotel shows, they just have a different vibe, a different atmosphere. And I don't feel like Scarefest has lost that community feeling, even with its growth. But this would just give us an opportunity to really kind of connect with that even more.
Yeah, like every time that I look forward to Scarefest every single year, obviously, but I never get to talk to anyone or really hang out or sleep or eat or hydrate.
That's all overrated.
And
yeah,
yeah, really. And so, navigating 40,000 attendees, navigating 100 celebrities, 200 some vendors, and everything, we just want something that we can have just kind of step out of the fast lane a little bit, not make it where we can kind of engage with folks a little bit more. It'd be more interpersonal, I think is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, exactly. And just because the graphic went by pretty quickly, for those of you who might not have seen it, the show dates are June 5th through the 7th in 2026 in Lexington at the Griffin Gate Marriott. And it's like, you're not just attending, right? You're not just showing up in the morning and then you're leaving in the afternoon, and we're going, we're kind of spreading out to go to different venues off site. We want you to eat, sleep, and breathe horror for the weekend, and we're going to be doing things a little differently than any other hotel show we've ever been to. We are doing
actually organizing things.
Yeah,
sorry,
that's one thing. We might get around to organizing some things, but one of the unique things is we're doing a complete property buyout. Every square inch of this hotel is going to be dedicated to this show. So that means we don't have a bedtime. So nobody can tell us to be quiet at a certain time or anything. So we're going to be able to have, a huge opportunity to schedule after hours events all over the property. And that's one thing I'd really like to kind of talk about for a minute is the property at the Griffin Gate Marriott. You can get a good idea of seeing it online, but, we've all checked it out. And Wes, Brandon, Adam, you've been up there recently. Adam couldn't make it to our last meeting because he has, his day job. But Brandon, Wes, what did you all think about it?
I've always thought it was a nice place. I was hoping they would let us cram a few more people in the building. I'll be honest, but
we're not going to talk specifics about that yet until we get our heads wrapped around that.
I mean, the last few years, and I've talked to some folks about this, but I've walked around every hotel in Lexington. We didn't want to go out of Lexington. I went to every single hotel in this town, probably 2 or 3 times, and walked around. And the Griffin Gate was one. We've had ghost hunts out there, all kinds of things. And the Griffin Gate, besides having the most square foot available, it just has a good feel to it.
Yeah.
The rooms are nice. I've enjoyed walking around there. They have a self-service bourbon station.
Yes. two
just a heads up.
Can't have a
And-
cigarette machine, but you can put bourbon in a damn
They
soda
put bourbon
fountain.
in a vending machine?
Yeah.
More
That's
or less.
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a bourbon
it's
vending
something
machine.
else. But I mean, I'm in all seriousness, like I've for 4 years, we've kind of piddled around, like looking at different venues, looking at different options, and everything just kind of fell in place to go ahead and kind of set it in motion. And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Scarefest is huge. I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's one of the largest shows in the country, and that's awesome because it gives you the benefit of doing a lot of things.
Yes.
But having a smaller show that really focuses on, really gets back to kind of our roots, because it's funny because most shows like try to expand,
Yeah.
or they try to like.
Well, we're trying to find a way to get small again.
Yeah, we're trying to find like a fun side project, I guess you could say, of not moving into another convention center, not going into another area. And so yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive to event promotion, but it's good for the fans and it's good for, I think, the community. I'm really excited about what this is going to look like.
Yes, and I see a lot of people asking in the chat, and there may be some folks that are just joining. So Spawn of Scarefest will be in addition to Scarefest weekend. In 2026, there will be 2 Scarefest shows, June and October. And we're going to release our October dates a little bit closer to the show. But I mean, this far out, you can't book hotels for next October or anything yet. So really, we don't need to release the dates until, that kind of stuff is available. But yes, the Griffin Gate, the venue is beautiful. It's a 250-acre property. It's a golf resort. It's got a spa. There's an indoor pool, an outdoor pool. They have an on-site restaurant. They've got a Starbucks. They've got a food truck where we can bring in more food trucks. It's a lot more. There are a lot more options for things that we can do in this setting than we have the capability of doing at the convention center, even though we have more space there. And the exclusivity is one thing that, I want to let people know. We are going to be, we're going to be totally redoing like our ticket packages. You are going to be able to buy your tickets and room together. And it is going to be an exclusive event. We absolutely anticipate this event will sell out before the show happens, just because we're going to keep it limited. We're trying to get away from that, packed to the gills feeling. So we'll be, even though it's a big property, it's a big place, there's a lot of room, we are going to be limiting the tickets. So we'll talk about that more closer to the event. We'll be getting, that information released. And I'm already seeing ideas in the chat for things that people want to do. Rob says outdoor movie nights. Yes, they have a giant screen above their swimming pool. And I've already floated the idea of like 2 a.m. Jaws screening.
I saw what you did there. Now, before it scrolls off screen, though, Kim Ford Johnson says, I'm glad that you all have found a hobby for your spare time.
Thanks, Mom. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Katie Follow in the chat is correct. It is next door to the Clarion. As a matter of fact, I think there's like a drive between the two buildings.
Yeah, it goes right
don't
through
even
the
have to hit
BP.
the highway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
how close it is. If you're not familiar with where it is. Now, Adrian said it. We tried to make it. I want to say it another time or two. Yes, there will be 2 events next year under the Scarefest label. One of them will be small and fairly intimate. The other will be the big super Scarefest that you're used to.
Yes.
So yeah, 2 different. And then we still got to work on things like making sure that people can tell the graphics apart and that kind of stuff. But that'll fall into line.
That's why we went like real crazy opposite with the logo. So Joel Robinson did can you put it back up on the screen, Wes? The Spawn of Scarefest logo.
There it is.
Oh, it's so pretty.
So the Spawn of Scarefest, you may have noticed a couple things different. One, it doesn't have the word weekend on it. 2, it's got these weird tentacle-y things coming out of it, and it says Spawn of. So the logo is a little bit different. And when we're doing graphics for one event, it will have the respective logo on it. Thank you, Wes.
And the thing to remember, because one thing that because we've been talking about this for a long time, and one of the things that we've, the thought that's gone into it is that, this isn't going to delay like the Scarefest weekend stuff, like announcements, ticket sales and all that. Like it won't be like a lot of shows that do multiple events, which most larger shows do, except for Texas Frightmare. But most shows will have like one open up for a certain amount of time, then they have their first show, and then they'll reset, and then the second show will start building. And what that does is it's kind of counterintuitive to what we want to do, because we want people to still have a lot of time to prepare for the big show.
Yeah.
And for those tickets to go on sale as they normally do, for photo ops to still be going, and give everybody plenty of time, and for announcements to be driving. And we've got some really good ideas about how to keep everything kind of separate, church and state, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Because we don't want people, it is effort. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but over the course of like since Scarefest last year, we've reset a lot of things and done a lot of upgrades to how we're doing stuff. Because obviously, we're updating like how everybody gets their information and how it's fed, basically.
Yeah.
And so this will be integrated into that and separated out.
Okay, we're going to play a quick commercial here. Then we'll be right back with more information.
Are you a fan of horror movies, books, comics, music, and collectibles? Roomorg Magazine is for you. Subscribe today to receive 6 or 12 print issues annually and join me, Executive Editor Andrea Subasati, on an ongoing journey through the horror genre of the past, present, and future. Plus, get access to unmissable special editions such as A Century of Witches, 50 Years of Gore Cinema, British horror movies, and so much more. Roomorg, the world's premier horror and culture and entertainment magazine since 1997. Accept no substitute.
And we're back with Scarefest Television. And tonight we're talking about the big reveal, Spawn of Scarefest, for June of 2026. Now, one solution, Brandon, to making kind of keeping everything straight for everybody, you might have to give up that little spell between November and December that you guys are like disappear.
Nope.
And I'm the only one working for 2 months.
Nope.
Y'all might just have to kick right in there. And
I've already thought of a workaround to that. Adrian learned how to schedule posts on social media. So it may look like I'm here, but I will not be.
Yeah, we're going to hand it over to Skynet.
Yeah.
And Skynet is going to run everything for 2 months. Now, I mean, the cutoff, like, I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this before, but like after Scarefest is over with, like we kind of take a knee, and a lot of that is like we're still working with, like you're still doing the radio.
I'm here every goddamn week.
We kind of go radio silent for a little bit, other than that 2 or 2.5 week period where we're doing cleanup on the show.
Where my brain is still leaking out of my ears, you mean?
Yeah, I'm still working. And
I'm
then,
not. I don't.
Yeah,
they are better men than me. I do not.
Yeah, but we need to be more active during that time. And Skynet aside, we're working on a lot of things that will kick into effect like after the show.
Yeah.
This year.
I've seen a lot of questions coming through. Okay, also Lisa Marie definitely gets 2 points for this. Asked when are photo ops going on sale for Spawn of Scarefest. So thank you, Lisa, for being the first person to ask that question.
I seen another question that was a guy asked, "What is the chairs situation at the new Scarefest?"
Katie asked that.
Brandon, you want to take that one? Or
I mean, there's just chairs. Your ass will have plenty of places to go.
There's so many chairs, and but a couple of serious questions. People are asking about like vendor signups, ticket packages. All of that is currently in the works. We're working on floor plans so we can figure out exactly the best way to map out vendors and celebrities, because I know at Scarefest we kind of always had everybody right there together. Okay. And with a hotel show, you have space limitations. So you can't have every vendor and guest in the same room, or the show would be about this big. So we have to take advantage of all of the spaces that the venue has. So we're going to have 3 separate rooms that, right now it's looking like we'll have 3 separate rooms that have vendors and celebrities in all of them. So just figuring out the best way to line all of this out, getting our pricing, what it's going to cost, yada, yada. All of the really fun stuff that takes a lot of time and makes our brains smoke a little bit. So once that's finalized, we'll be sending out information for the new ticket packages, for the vendor tables, all of that. It will be coming out soon. Ryan said, quit your bitching. What am I bitching about? I haven't even begun to bitch yet.
Somebody asked a question I think is actually pretty important. Will there be roomless tickets available? Like if they just want to come to the show?
Yes, there will be. And we've kind of gone over this a bit. Now, keep in mind, this venue is big. There are a lot of guest rooms. And one of the things that, we're looking at right now is certain ticket packages will only be available with the guest rooms. But there will be general admission tickets to the show that you can purchase if you don't want or need to buy a hotel room. But certain options will only be available if you purchase a room. And let's see. Ryan is on one tonight. What did you all do to Huff? Are we going to be announcing guests for next year's June Scarefest? No, we're not starting guest announcements yet. This is just the, hey, the show is going to be happening, and
save the date.
Save the date, because we have kept very, very, very tight-lipped about this. Any of our agents that we work with that are watching this may be like, what in the heck? Second show? Yeah. So that's about where we're at. We want to work it out.
Have we given a thought process to whether or not, okay, Scarefest over the years has zoned in more on reunions and cast and that type of thing.
Sure.
Hotel shows, the smaller shows in particular, are more famous, if I'll use that word, but in words, they get a lot of one-offs. Have we given any thought to what type of lineup? I know we can't announce celebs, but how do you want the lineup? Do we have an idea how we're going to configure who we invite to this?
Brandon thinks he has a thought on that, but I'm here to tell you, whatever he thinks is going to happen, I'm going to crush every dream he's ever had. Go, Brandon.
Let me ask a follow-up to that before you answer. So beyond the one-offs, do you have an idea? Like, I know Scarefest the last couple of years has had anywhere north of 100 stars at a time. Like, what are you thinking on this show? Like,
Brandon
the size?
also can't answer that.
Okay.
Fair enough. We've gone back and forth, but here's the basic premise. So one of the reasons that Scarefest has gotten up to 100 guests is
you're dying
because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
But no, because I love doing large reunions.
Oh, that's not what I thought he was going to say.
No, well, yeah, thanks. But I love doing those big cast reunions. Like, I love getting as many people together as I can.
Yep.
And Phantasm is a good thing. Like last year.
Yes.
Like having all those folks, because and it wasn't just like one cast reunion. Like we do
There's
several,
5 or 6.
Yeah, that are huge. That folks haven't gotten together. And by expanding the guest list for Scarefest weekend, what it allowed us to do was to get a lot of different franchises, a lot of different things that people enjoy. and it helps not one side get overwhelmed or the other. I mean,
Yeah.
it works. But with a hotel show, we wouldn't have the ability to do those big, huge cast things because that would eat up a lot of the space. So you can have 2 or 3 or 4, here and there, that may be part of the same franchise or the same film, but it would be smaller, folks that aren't going to the main show.
Yep.
And folks that are obviously headliners mixed in with supporting cast and things like that. But it wouldn't be 100 obviously.
No.
You would be looking at guest lineups that kind of are analogous with Flashback Weekend or let's see, Flashback. Some of the Monster Manias, because those are the 2 hotel shows that I traditionally like. I enjoy those, and that's kind of what I'm looking at.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And another thing that I want people to think about and remember, especially the people that are on here right now, the people that are going to be watching Scarefest TV and that are here all the time. This event is not Scarefest weekend. It's not meant to be Scarefest weekend. If we wanted to do another giant show with 100 guests, we would have it at the convention center. This is different. This is going to be more focused on everybody being together and doing things together, more so than somebody just goes to an event, they're going to meet one celebrity guest, and there's still probably going to be some of that. But it's different than just having someone show up to go in and do their one thing and then leave. We want the people that are coming to this event to be there to experience it as a whole, if that makes sense. And I may not be saying it exactly how I'm feeling it, but and
from the time that you pull in to the time that you leave, you're going to feel the atmosphere. You're going to notice that it's you're going to step into Halloween in June with all the things that we all love.
Yes.
And that's going to be, I'm super excited about it just because I've seen hotel guests, when you go to Monster Mania and stuff, the whole hotel just has an ambiance to it.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I'm not saying that we can do it better, but I think we do a pretty damn good job overall on everything, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
I think we can do one hell of a hotel show.
I do like that. What I've seen of the one thing I've seen at hotel shows, you feel like the hotel wants you there.
Yeah.
That was one thing that impressed the hell out of me. It was really obvious in Atlanta.
Yeah, and we stayed away from horse racing months.
Yeah.
So everything is cheaper in Lexington outside of horse racing months.
Yes. And, this is not to say, and obviously we have said this, if you've been here before, that we really, really appreciate the hard work that the team that works with us to put on Scarefest weekend does. Hands down, the folks that make our show happen through the convention center are incredible. That being said, it's a corporation, and the Marriott is too. Griffin Gate it's privately owned though, and you get we're the only people in the building, right? It's just us there. We're going to be their sole focus. Their parking lot isn't owned by someone else that's going to charge you $27 a day to park there. They haven't cornered the market on the food and beverage that's there. We're allowed to bring in outside the food trucks, like I mentioned. We have a lot more flexibility, and that's just because it's a hotel. So the convention center, the way that they make their money is by hosting events. And the hotel, they rent out rooms and everything, so they don't, have to be so strict, like the convention center is all I'm getting at.
If anybody from Central Bank Center is on, watching this,
we love
you guys. This isn't don't nobody shit their pants or anything.
Well, I told everyone to wear Depends tonight.
Yeah. Unless unless the convention center is going to build a hotel in it.
Yes.
There's
elevator has to come first.
And that's the way it
People
works.
said they wanted another elevator first, Brandon. They
That's
cannot build a
true.
hotel in the convention center until they add the extra elevator. That is from the fan group last year. Let's do our announcements now. These are announcements for Scarefest 2025, Scarefest Weekend 2025 this year, not next year. Hey, the first one, and these are, I mean, they're not surprises, but you have definitely been asking for them. First up, look, there's Danielle Harris. Danielle Harris of the Halloween fame. Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead, Last Boy Scout. All kinds of 107 IMDb acting credits plus 6 upcoming. And if that wasn't enough, you know who's coming with her. Scout Taylor Compton. Scout Taylor Compton, also oddly enough of Halloween fame, also known for Runaways, An American Crime, and 109 IMDb credits with 9 upcoming, which tells me she's working just a little bit harder than Danielle. So just going to put that out there. And let's see. I don't want everybody to forget we are doing, and then these tickets are sold in advance. They will be available at the show, but the Warrens Occult Museum is coming to Scarefest Weekend this year, featuring the real Annabelle doll. Open all 3 days during con hours. Over a dozen exhibits of Ed and Lorraine Warren's collection. Photography of objects is. Somebody emailed me about that this week. Yes, photography is permitted, but you are probably like every other goddamn museum in the country. You can't touch stuff.
That's right.
Can we touch
Nor
them?
would you want
No.
in this one.
Go
That's
to the
my
Louvre
question.
and-
Why would you want to? Why would you want to touch it?
This to prove that how macho they are and that kind of
Mhm.
bullshit. Somebody said, I'm going to throw the doll at somebody, and it's in a wooden case. You will kill them.
Right.
So anyway,
Literally.
but
A
I just,
heavy
okay, I'm
one.
putting that out there. Photos, yes. Touching, no, because that's the way museums work. Now, everything is online now. We've
checked all our boxes.
Yeah, we've checked all of our boxes on the spring schedule. Tattoo ink artists, and those have a very limited time. So if you're wanting to do tattoos at Scarefest, you need to get your application in. Volunteer applications are available. We do have many departments still looking for people. Some are already getting kind of tight. So everybody, the volunteer applications are online. Also, don't forget Adrian's other little project, because she just loves doing this kind of shit. Saturday, April 12th, Rewind Time. That is at the Clarion Hotel next door to the Marriott Griffin Gate. Unique finds, vintage toys, collectibles, Funko Pops, sports memorabilia, stamps, Pokemon, Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, Barbie diecast, VHS, and so much more. Saturday, April 12th at the Clarion Hotel. And yeah. So you got that. Find her on Facebook. She'll be advertising stuff on Facebook.
Yes.
Rewind Time. And finally, I do want to remind everybody that Kentucky's premier psychic and artist market comes up the third weekend of every month. April is on Saturday, the 18th. I didn't pull it up, I believe it's the 18th. It is a Saturday market. And check that out. Go to scarefestweekend.com. Click the link. Excuse me. So there, that's our announcements for the evening.
Yeah, I want to say the Warren Museum, like, it's been crazy how many people are blowing that up.
Yes, and I would like to mention, to add on to what Wes said, tickets will be available at the show if we don't sell out. Now, we're not saying that it's going to be sold out for the whole weekend, because Friday and Sunday will probably be a little slower than the weekend. But those, the unlimited passes, they are finite. Those will sell out, and then you'll only be able to get the single-use pass. And they're not going to sell out like this month or next month. I'm not trying to make anyone panic buy. But before we get to the event, those passes will be sold out. So when you're planning what you're going to get, what you're going to do, then if you want that unlimited pass, please get that in advance. And then the Warren's FAQ, if for anybody that does not know, people that haven't been on social media in the last couple of weeks, Brandon has been absolutely basically going through Scarefest weekend with his other company. So we are just a little bit lagging behind on getting the website updated with information. But if he hasn't already, very soon, when you go to the website, you know how now you can click on guest images and it expands and brings up any additional information that's associated with that guest? If you didn't, now you know. The Warren's Occult Museum is going to have their entire FAQ will be posted under their graphics. So if you have any questions or if anyone has any questions, we can direct them to that page. And then if there are questions on there that aren't covered in the FAQ, please let us know and I will get those answers added.
Let me go through the ones I've been seeing.
Okay.
I said most of them are not contacting us, they're just posting his comments. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people think this is the end of Lexington. It will burn and fall into a hole into hell.
Yeah.
Which
I think after the week we've had, it's going to float away before it burns.
that's true.
Yeah,
This could be a thing. This could be the first plague. This could be the first plague, and we have brought it on ourselves.
I haven't seen a guy with a boat and 2 animals, so I think we're okay.
You drive north, baby. It's in Williamstown.
It is. Yeah, you're right. I can't even argue with that.
They say it's kind of leaky, but you know, that's the thing about arcs. Anyway, all kidding aside, we're getting a very, very positive response on it.
Yes.
And although somebody didn't understand that you can put items in a van and take them to another city, somebody actually posted on there and said, "Well, this is in Connecticut."
Yeah, this can't be right.
They have a van.
I saw too. It did, like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to hurt sales, but I saw a couple people like post like, "Oh hell no."
Yeah. Well, I did have, in all fairness, I did have one person email me and say that they wanted to sell their tickets. They had Weekend Plus passes, and you know we've got the wait list. So they emailed me, and before I could even respond to their first email, they sent me another email and they said, "Well, is she going to be on the main floor?" And I said, No. She's going to be in, you know, they have a dedicated space that's away from the main con floor. And they said, "Oh, well, that's okay then." So I guess a couple of walls, some metal, some plaster, some screws makes all of the difference in feeling secure about that. And I may have been having
that, like, she's going to be like, I don't know. I'm not up on my Annabelle lore. Like,
right.
Is there a square footage, like circumference around her that's safe?
People, I went online and I found where we can order, you know, and I'm probably going to go to hell for some of the comments I've been making, but you know, they'll have holy water there, but I thought maybe we could get some of those little bottles and just have the Scarefest logo put on them and have them blessed.
And we'll sell them for $29.99.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we are going to hell.
See,
so.
no,
yeah.
Okay,
it's all a money grab, right? It's all a money grab.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Oh my God, I hate that friggin' word. Oh. God, it reminds me of like when that guy, like somebody got on the Facebook page last year when we were doing the Matthew Lillard thing, and was like, "Oh, it's a money grab."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like if they knew that we make no money on their autograph signings at all.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, we were working around the clock for like 3 weeks on that.
Yeah. So you know,
you hurt my feelings, whoever you are.
And
you hurt my feelings.
That is the one thing out of everything that will actually get under my skin. And I've responded to a couple of people, and it's normally on the main page, not in our group, because I know how our Scarefest fam is in the group. You cannot come in there and even hint like one unkind word about me or the show, or people will get mobbed. But one guy, yeah, he was like, "This is a total money grab." And I'm thinking to myself, and I typed out, "I'm telling you," but I didn't post it. But it made me feel better. So the other day, I made a post on the main page, and it was a thank you post for everyone who is always so lovely and so supportive of guest announcements, even if they're not your cup of tea and you're on there, you know, supporting the show. We appreciate that, because there are some people who get on there and they say things like, "Who is this? I've never heard of this person." Well, go sit down and read a book or watch a movie. Like, you know, not everything is about you all the time. So yeah, I really love the way that the group is so supportive of all of our guest announcements, even if it's not somebody that you're really pumped to come and see. Thank you all for being awesome.
Yeah, really.
My
Like,
favorite.
I've seen some announcements like out there here recently, and I'm just like, gosh, that's harsh.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing you can do as a fan is like crap talk a guest in the announcement comments. And I see people do it at other shows, and I'm just like, God bless it. And typically it's not like true genre fans. Like it's folks that are visiting, because horror fans aren't that way.
Exactly. I've been seeing it going around though in some of the other groups, especially. So just huge pat yourselves on the back. You all are the best. I mean, we all know this, obviously. And we're still not a cult.
My favorite, though, was the person that went on Jason Patrick's post and said, well, he's only been in one horror movie, and you're bringing him to a convention?
Oh, God. Okay.
It's a reunion of the whole vampire thing.
The werewolves?
The werewolves.
Yeah, the vampire thing. But the main thing is, I IMDb'd him. He's been in 5 horror movies and 1 horror TV series.
It was a Terrifier 3.
That out.
Everybody should back up.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how fanatic those people are.
Exactly.
So anyway, I pointed out to them. They didn't. They never said another word.
Yeah. It happened.
Well, actually, did. He said, "Well, I didn't count the TV series." Didn't say you had to. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it happens, but there are always so many things that are in the works. Like with the show now, with the new edition of the show. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's going to be a lot of information going out, and our number one, like the best way for us to get information out is the people that are watching right now. I mean, you all do such a good job. Like I'll see a post come up of someone that's new and even new to shows in general, not just new to Scarefest. And I won't even have a chance to go on there and say anything. So there's already 6 comments of people just giving them really great advice and being welcoming and supportive, and just it really makes me happy. Like we wouldn't do this if you all weren't as great as you are. I'm just saying that right now. Like I would go work at a Wendy's before I would put up with a bunch of jerks.
Okay, before we go to our Joe Lewis's movie review, I gotta give Jake Godbold credit for his last comment.
Yeah.
He says he's still waiting for the rest of Speed 2 Cruise Control to be announced. Jason Patch. I remember that. Highly underrated movie. Okay, everybody. Joe Lewis.
Hey, Scarefest. This is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly with another review. And this time we get yet another Hellboy reboot. Reboot, not reboot. This time I'm going to talk about 2024's Hellboy, the Crooked Man, or A Crooked Man, or whatever it's called. It's actually based on one of the graphic novels by Mike Mignola, who created Hellboy. And he's one of the writers. And the director is Brian Taylor, who Taylor Nevedine did like Crank and a few other films. It's low budget, shot in Bulgaria, which looks really good as a stand-in for Eastern Kentucky or Appalachia, because the movie takes place in the 50s in Appalachia. And what I do like about this new movie that's streaming on Hulu, it is more of probably slightly closer to what I imagine the graphic novels are of Hellboy kind of getting in trouble, finding all these little creatures as he goes along, these monsters and whatnot, and ghosts as he goes through his adventure. He's on a train with a lady, another agent, some spider gets out. They have to track the spider down in Appalachia and run into these ghosts and this evildoer named the Crooked Man. First 20 minutes aren't bad. And this is not a movie I can recommend, but I didn't dislike it. So let me break this down for you. Is to me, if you're familiar with old tales like a jacktail, in Appalachia they called them jacktails. It's very much like that, which I loved. The problem with it is that the narrative through it isn't strong. It's shot beautifully. It looks great, but it's still the low budget comes through so bad sometimes. The production design, I mean, it does. I grew up in the mountains, and they got it. I actually looked up, like, nope, that's Bulgaria, because they got a lot of it really close. Whoever the production designer on this was did a really good job. But it just kind of breaks down. One being that the narrative, if it was 30 minutes, works really well. And I know you hear this a lot. If it was just a short, it's great, but it needed more to keep it for you 90 minutes. The second thing is nobody's bad in this movie. I just think they're all miscast, including the new guy who plays Hellboy, Jack Kesey. He's not terrible. It's so hard to get past Ron Perlman. And even if you like the other version, the reboot a couple of years ago, it's hard to get past that too. He just plays him very quiet and silent, and he doesn't have any kind of attitude. He's just, and it's a different take. It's interesting, and I don't think the movie's terrible. People I know have just crapped on this. I think it's better. It's definitely better than the reboot that came out a few years ago. You need a presence. You need some sort of gravitas to carry the movie, and this guy he doesn't do it. The couple of the low budget things that drive me crazy is the skull cap they put on him. You can just see on Hellboy's the makeup just looks terrible. When you look at the production design and so many of the other things that look really good, why blow this on your main character? The other thing that just drives me crazy is some of the actual costumes and the way the lady, his partner, wears her hair. You never would have done that in 1950. And they just kind of accept Hellboy when he comes through this little, for lack of a better way, village in Appalachia, which I kind of completely understand. But they talk and dress in a way, the outsiders, that would never have worked in 1950. Their hair wouldn't have looked anything like that. So you spend all this time getting this right, and you just totally drop the ball over here. So should you watch Hellboy, The Crooked Man on Hulu? If you're a big Hellboy fan, yes. If it's much more of a horror film than the previous ones, there are monsters and blood and whatnot in this. So I do like that. I like the look of the Crooked Man when you finally do see him. The narrative doesn't quite carry it. Neither do the performances. Nobody's bad. It's just really miscast. This has been Joe.
And welcome back, everybody, to the final segment of Scarefest Television. And, of course, we're talking about tonight the spawn of Scarefest. The Scarefest spawn.
Joe, I love you, but Jesus Christ, Crooked Man was pretty damn good. I have to disagree with you.
I couldn't even hear.
Okay, we got some things from the chat room. First of all, now Adrian is still doing the math, but she is planning on releasing some vendor/room together packages.
Yes.
Is that still in the works? Yes. But we have to decide because there's a limited number of rooms and we have to decide. But the Clarion is like pissing distance. So
yeah.
For a dude.
Hey.
Be harder for a chick. Anyway, it is still too early to decide to announce how we're going to be rolling the tickets out. The question is, hey, does so-and-so get first choice at tickets, blah, blah, blah. So that will be announced. Adrian, now this is for mine. Now, the spa will be open and the masseuse will be on duty.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we're looking at. Like, there are so many different things that we can do there, but yes, the spa will be open. So, Kira Santiago made a joke the other day about a spa day after Scarefest weekend would be a great thing to have. And I wanted so badly to say, hey, and also, I want you guys to know that I made a boo-boo and no one caught it. And it's still on the main page. I did not take it off. I just noticed it yesterday. One of the hashtags on one of the posts that I made said Spawn of Scarefest on it. It was like 2 teaser posts ago. No one said anything about it. It was one of the
I've said all along, nobody pays any attention to hashtags.
Nope, they sure don't.
I said that 5-10 years ago.
That should probably raise some eyebrows there because even
or maybe we're all morons, every one of us. That's the other
Maybe. I
possibility.
mean, I didn't catch it. I'm the one that posted it. So, it's just one of those things, I guess.
Well, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because somebody in the chat, I missed who it was, and I do apologize. I think it was Katie. She was like, "Can you go into the hints? What were the meanings to them?" I'm like, "Well, it's the spawn of Scarefest. That's obviously the meaning." But like, I know the last one that you put up with the tentacles and it says Motel 2. I was like, "Well, that right there, is a dead giveaway."
Adam thought that everyone was going to guess it from that.
I really did.
I'll tell you
did.
what, one person, Katie Followell. Katie texted me. She guessed it, and I said, "All right, you're in the club. So zip it. You got 2 days." She guessed 2 days ago. And she said, "There's not a son of Scarefest coming, is there?" And I said, "Oh, that's cool. But, if I was going to do a second event, I may go more gender neutral on the name."
But it identifies as an octopus.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, honestly, guys, like, the only one that even kind of came close to really giving the event away would be like the pool. I wanted to actually take a photo of the Griffin Gates pool and just edit it enough that you all couldn't Google image search it. And Brandon was like, "No, don't use that one. Use this one." And he had some really good ones. The Our Love of Sequels, that was him.
That's the one that caused the most trouble, though. That was one.
Well, because it's really similar to the Scream 2 tagline, which I did not know that because I never paid attention to the movie poster until today. Someone pointed it out. And I said, well, shit, yeah, it's pretty close. So, yeah, honestly, like the tentacles, we wanted to do, the spawn, like a creature, and then the tentacles in a crib, like, the birthing of a new event.
That one was my favorite.
Wish You Were Here.
Yeah, I want to do like a whole Rosemary's Baby kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I almost like said on the announcement earlier today, like tonight's the night, like Dexter. I really was just trying to throw out as many red herrings as possible so that no one would actually guess, because I wasn't prepared to answer questions about it. Because I can say in like just total transparency, like from the bottom of my heart, while we were going through and planning this, and I know I've been driving these guys nuts with my brain won't turn off. And I've been having a hard time focusing on the main show. Brandon's had to reel me back in a couple times because I won't shut up about Spawn. But I just can't remember ever being so excited for anything in my entire life. And I mean that. I am so looking forward to this, and I'm actually like kind of nervous. I told the guys before we started, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna throw up, and I don't get nervous about stuff. So I'm just
what I'm excited about is that this may actually cinch that I get a hotel room.
No, you're sleeping outside.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
We've got they have.
I'm tired of going back home or sleeping in the bathtub.
I was gonna say, I think they have like a little storage room outside by the pickleball courts that I have your name on.
Okay, now wait. I would have never signed up for this had I known that I wasn't going to get a room.
Well,
there's like lounge chairs by the pool.
It's not fair.
There's plenty of chairs to sleep in outside.
Yeah, there's chairs around the pool. Then they got padding on them and everything. You're fine.
Brandon, you can go to the spa with me and have hot stones placed on your buttocks.
Oh, butt stones. I like butt rocks.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I'm totally going to Caddyshack the hell out of this place.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. I don't want to say obviously like, and probably a lot of people are having to log off. I know it's getting late, but just some of the ideas like I want to do, and no one panic if you're not up for like late night shenanigans. I've already talked to the venue. The way that this place is set up, there is a whole section of the hotel that we can have as like the quiet side. And then where all the events and everything are going on throughout the evening will be on the other side of the hotel. So if you're an old fart, like some people I know that go to bed before the sun goes down, not pointing any fingers at anyone.
All right, Wes.
You won't have to worry about that. So I don't want anyone to panic. And
we'll put every goddamn one of you to bed.
Yeah, no.
So when you sell tickets, are you like going to say, do you want the party side or the sleepy side? Is that what you're planning on doing?
Kind of, yeah. And I haven't worked out exactly the logistics on how we're going to do it yet, but we will have an option for people to say like, hey, but it's limited. So once those rooms are gone, if you don't want to be a part of, the shenanigans, then go stay somewhere else. But one of the things I really want to do is I want to have each floor, it's 7 stories. So I want each floor to have a theme. I want to do within respect to what the venue will allow. Door decorating contests, different maybe scavenger hunt type things. There's just a lot of stuff that we can do here that we can't do. We could, just not as effectively at the convention center. Why do you need a spa when you know Barb? I don't know what Wes is talking about.
Because Barb has not offered to lay hot stones on my buttocks.
That she's offered to put stones on my butt before.
You're not Wes.
Well, now I'm mad. See, now I'm just upset and angry.
I'm joking. Just kidding. But, let's see. I missed the announcements during storm cleanup. If you've missed the announcements, if you've not been here
up,
all
Wes.
show,
Put it back up.
No. Okay.
Well, here's the important one. There we go.
Spawn of Scarefest. You can yeah. Okay. We're going to be doing a second event in 2026, June 5th through 7th. We're going to have 2 Scarefests, a baby Scarefest and a daddy Scarefest. And also tonight we announced Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Compton. So we're thrilled to be having those lovely, lovely ladies back with us. Kelly says a 3-day horror bender. And someone else asked if there's a bar. Yes, there's a bar. And not only do they have like the permanently established bar, they have bourbon machines. And what that means, I know I keep saying it, it's a machine with bourbon in it, right? Spoiler. But you go to the bar and you have funds loaded onto a card. And then you go over to the bourbon machine and you scan your little card and you push what kind of bourbon that you want and the pour amount that you want. And it gives you bourbon. It's really cool. So they've got that. And then we'll also have, bar stands set up, especially during like events and things like that. They've got fire pits. They give out s'mores kits. You can rent bikes. You can play golf. You can swim in the pool.
You rent a goddamn truck.
You can play pickleball. I mean, there is so much stuff that you can do. So, and we will try to make as many of those
We'll
things.
take a refrigerator and just roll it on its side.
We'll try to make as many of those things horror themed as possible. I'm seeing cosplay pickleball. I mean, I don't know what pickleball
Somebody
is.
tell me what the hell pickleball is.
Thank you. I don't know.
Tennis for old people. Moving on.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because
it's racquetball, a little bit smaller. Yeah.
My tax
Thanks for
bracket
finding
does
that, Wes.
not include pickleball. Let's see.
I just heard campfires and moonshine, so that's where I'm at. Like,
yes,
That's what I said. You have to buy a new cooler now. Bigger
Yeah.
I know.
wheels on it.
that's all.
Brandon,
you
can I
need to
borrow
know.
your credit card? Never mind.
It's not gonna do you any good.
So, yeah, that's the rock that we've been living under. So we've got, a lot of cool announcements still coming out for Scarefest weekend. So, if for some reason, the idea of the Spawn of Scarefest is not appealing to you, that's okay, because we're still going to have Scarefest weekend. We're still going to have all of the things that we've come to know and love over the years at the center. And we're going to be talking more about this soon. The floor plan is going to be coming out. You all can see the new spaces that we've added, some of the cool things for that. And then we'll be rolling out some stuff for Spawn as well in there. And we'll make sure that you know which is which. Maybe if we're lucky, Brandon will give us our own tab on the website where we can stick some Spawn of Scarefest information.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah.
One thing I did want to mention, someone had asked, will there be ticket packages for both events? No, they will be kept entirely separate. I can't think right now of anything that we're going to be doing where one show directly affects the other. So nope. Right now, they're each their own thing. It's a new baby with a new identity. Any other questions before we wrap up for the night about Spawn of Scarefest?
I'm not seeing one about Spawn, but there was one real quick about Scarefest Senior. And I'm already seeing Senior and Junior in our chat, by the way.
Old man
already seeing
Scarefest.
it. Old Man Scarefest. It was from, Derek Daniels. Yes, we will be using all 3 floors of the convention center this year. All 3 floors.
Oh, yeah. Yep, top to bottom, front to back. The convention center is entirely ours from Saturday to Sunday night. So, there's a lot going on with Scarefest weekend that we've been working on, that we will be talking about, that we've been kind of talking about a little bit in the group. But not before you know it, we're in April right now. Before you know it, we're going to be wrapping up, applications. As Wes mentioned earlier, the tattoo artist applications, those are only open for 2 weeks. We have had the date that those applications open posted for months. So it shouldn't be come as a shock to anybody about those dates. But once those are wrapped, we'll be able to start announcing our tattoo artists. Soon we're going to be closing speaker applications. I think close at the end of May. So, somewhere around the middle of June, you'll get speaker schedule. And I'm just waiting on a couple more things, and we'll be ready to roll out photo ops. I'm hoping by the middle of this month, our photo ops for Scarefest weekend will be live. So, make a note of that.
And in closing, someone in the chat room, now this is about this year, asked, will there be any food options for those getting in line early at 6 a.m. and waiting until 4 p.m. Friday for entry? Probably not, because I can't even get a goddamn hotel breakfast at 6 a.m. most days.
We are working on something, though.
There you go. When there might be. And actually, there was a food cart out there pretty early.
There was.
Yeah. So, yeah. I had a little, cubicle thing set up.
And me and Brandon talked to him at Comic-Con.
Yep.
There you go.
Well,
so we are working on it.
If everything works out the way that we think it will, I think everybody will be happy with the line management this year, and the systems that we've got in place that'll be going on for this year. Because we've, while we've been planning for Spawn, we've been spending a lot of time on planning for Scarefest weekend, and we've got some really good ideas on how to manage everything this year.
Yep.
By the way, the outside looking in, guys, thank you all so much. I'm going to say it for the rest of the fans. All of them have been screaming it all night from the chat. Thank you all so much for all the work that you all did to make this happen. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to me.
You all are worth it.
And if anybody's texting me, I've been under insurance review certification annual for a week and a half. So sorry if I've been off the radar, guys.
As opposed to his normal snappy replies that he does the other
to the year. I wasn't even going to bring it up.
Anyway, one thing before we go, I do want to say a little something. One of our Scarefest family, Raymond Newsom. Now, Raymond has not been deeply involved in the part you see of Scarefest. Behind the scenes, he was big help in logistics last year. He's been on my film festival team judging. Raymond Newsom passed away last Sunday. And so it is a loss to everybody. I don't have the information right here, but if you go on Spirit Mechanics' Facebook page, they have, I believe, all of his arrangements. And if you want to make a donation to the family, because he was a young man, 42, passed away. I don't think he had life insurance or anything.
No, 3 children.
Yeah, 3 children. So they're going to need a little money to keep going to help out. So if you want, Spirit Mechanics has that information. It's a GoFundMe. If you click on it from their profile, you'll know you have the right one. But I did want to say that before we go. Everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. This has been Scarefest TV.